The final episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier wraps everything up and gives us a good end to this first part of Sam and Bucky's story, but leaves it open for so much more. So let's take a look at what we saw in this final episode and what it may mean for the future of Sam and Bucky and the MCU. As always, spoilers ahead, so if you haven't watched it yet, go do that now and then come back here. But now, watchers, let's observe. This is the episode, the one where we finally get to see Sam as Captain America. Not only does he don the stars and stripes, but he finally admits it to himself. He's got new wings and armor courtesy of the Wakandans, and he really shows his expertise with them and the shield throughout the episode. The episode starts with Sam and Bucky, with the help of Sharon Carter, entering the GRC headquarters to stop the Flag Smashers and save the GRC Council. Sam uses his new wings and shield to go to the floor where the vote is taking place to assess the scene, only to be stopped by Batroc the Leaper. He fights Batroc as Batroc has a score to settle, as he said in the last episode. The fight ends with Sam pushing Batroc out of the way, only to leave to chase some of the hostages who are being evacuated via helicopter by another Flag Smasher. While the other council members are being guided to SWAT vehicles in the basement because one of the Flag Smasher disguised himself as a member of the SWAT team, and because Carly distracted by trying to convince him that he was on the wrong side yet again, and also using the time to distract him from stopping the Flag Smasher from bringing them down into the basement. While this is going on, the other hostages are guided to the SWAT vehicles, only to be trapped in there by the Flag Smasher with some of the tech Batroc brought them. After this, the Flag Smasher runs into Sharon, who is following him, to which she uses mercury gas to kill him, giving us yet another hint that she might be Power Broker, killing him instead of subduing him. Two chases then follow, Bucky on the ground, Sam in the air. Prior to intercepting the vehicles, the Flag Smashers are seen meeting, and the three with Carly are taking issue with their new plan to kill the hostages to stop the vote, but do go along with the plan despite their disagreement with the method. So Carly and the three she is with hijack the SWAT vehicles, but are ultimately stopped by Bucky, who fights them off as he tries to free the hostages. To get Bucky out of the way and to get his attention, they light one of the vans on fire. So Bucky's focus changes to save those that are inside the vehicle that is on fire, and the Flag Smashers then use this to try to get away with the other vehicle. But this is where John Walker finally steps in, angry and out for blood. He confronts Carly, and when she inadvertently says Lamar's life didn't matter, he attacked with his homemade shield. Initially, he doesn't do too well against the four Flag Smashers and is brought down because of his anger. And you can clearly see the conflict in himself as he looks at the Medal of Honor welded to the back of the shield. As John's getting kicked while he's down, Bucky eventually breaks off the device trapping the hostages and releases them from the burning vehicle, and then steps in to help John out. He fights off the Flag Smashers, stopping Carly from killing John with a parking meter, and he gets thrown off into the construction and is followed by a Flag Smasher with a steel I-beam. As Bucky and this Flag Smasher fight, Carly attempts to take the remaining vehicle containing the hostages, but is stopped by John, who fights her yet again, seeking revenge. And while for the most part it seems John is winning, Carly eventually gets the drop on him and escapes and drives the vehicle with the hostages into the construction site. It is at this moment that we see one of the most important parts of John's story, because it finally shows that John realizes what it means to be a hero, and instead of fighting Carly seeking revenge, he drops his damaged shield and uses his strength to try and save the hostages that are teetering on the edge. Even when Carly and two other Flag Smashers attack him, he sticks to trying to help out the GRC Council trapped in the vehicle and tries his best to be a hero and not let his anger get the best of him. But John and the three Flag Smashers do eventually fall, and the SWAT vehicle seems to be following closely behind them. Sam shows up at the last second, however, and with two new Red Wings saves the day. Prior to showing up and saving these hostages, however, Sam was chasing down a helicopter with the last Flag Smasher and three hostages over the Hudson River. This is where we really got to see how much skill Sam has with both the shield and the wings, as he saves some NYPD chopper pilots during the chase, as well as his tactical genius when he saves the hostages, eventually ejecting the Flag Smasher out of the helicopter and into the Hudson so that one of the hostages with piloting skills could fly the helicopter to safety. After dropping the Flag Smasher into the river, this is where Sam flies off to save the other hostages. Although previously Sam already declared that he is Captain America, that he realized it in his own eyes, it is at this moment that others finally see him for the same. After saving and releasing the hostages, he flies down to join John and Bucky in confronting the Flag Smasher as he tries to de-escalate the situation. Carly does attack, however, showing that she is far too gone to actually save, attempting to skewer Bucky with some rebar. Sam hits all of the remaining Flag Smashers with his shield, showing his mastery of it. After knocking them back and getting their attention, Carly accuses him of joining the other viewpoint, to which Sam says he's changed and maybe she should too, showing that Sam finally realized what the Shield and Captain America truly represent. And he is about to show the world that, especially because the world is very different due to many of the current events, that he can help be the symbol of unification they need and bring about change that will help millions. But Batroc had other plans, since when Sam left him, he was still okay. Batroc pops smoke on the group as they are arguing and preparing to fight again, sending the Flag Smashers running into the service tunnels with Sam, John, and Bucky following. The Flag Smashers get separated, with the 3 remaining followers going another way and Carly going deeper, following a similar whistle to the one she does. The 3 are followed by Bucky and John, who trick them with the phone Carly called Bucky on earlier, summoning them into a trap to be arrested by the police. John and Bucky leave the scene with some banter that may be teasing that although they don't necessarily like each other, they may become acquaintances and co-workers again someday, as Bucky treats John in a similar fashion that he did Sam earlier in the season. And we also see that John has had a bit of a change of heart, and that although he may still have anger issues, has recognized them and is going to do what he can to be a hero and not a bully. Carly, however, follows the whistles only to be confronted by Sharon, who to not many people's surprise is revealed to be the power broker, and is actually the reason Carly and her friends have the powers and got together in the first place. It also seems that Sharon might be part of the reason they have the ideals that they do, only changing them from controlling the people who hurt her and force her out of her country to trying to change the world from what those people want. Even the whistle, it must have been a signal from when the Flag Smashers were originally Sharon's bodyguards. Batroc does show up during this conversation and learns that Sharon is the power broker as well and attempts to blackmail her, only to be shot and killed because Sharon doesn't like blackmail, opening up the moment for her to be shot in the stomach by Carly. Which kind of shows that to Sharon the business is far more important than even her life to some extent. The gunshots reveal their location to Sam, who shows up right before Carly can finish Sharon off, and Carly attacks Sam after he tries to convince her there has to be another way. As she attacks, all Sam does is defend, as he does his best to try and reason with her, but she is too far gone. As she gets past Sam's defenses and is about to shoot him, Sharon steps in and ends up killing Carly. While although it seems to be to help Sam, it's far more likely that it's to keep her secrets safe, since Carly was the last one who knew that she was power broker. So in the end, Sam brought Carly's body to the paramedics and then confronts the leaders of the GRC, and because of his new title and presence, ultimately convinces them to look at the world in a different light and to face the struggle of a post-snap world by helping people, bringing the world together to face hard times and facing the hard decisions together rather than making things far more difficult for many people. It's Sam's influence and vision that they eventually embrace as he tries to help so that others like Carly, who originally wanted to help and then became terrorists because the ones in power didn't agree with how she was helping, wouldn't happen again. After this, everyone seems to go their separate ways, with Bucky finally confronting Yuri and apologizing for what he did to his son. While this does appear to end their friendship, Bucky finally does get closure and peace in his life. He gives Steve's book to his therapist with all of the names crossed off, thanking her for her help. John, finally realizing what he needs to do to be a hero and to improve himself, seems to have been given a second chance by the government, who it seems Val is working for, because she gives him a new suit and name of US agent. She teases strange times ahead, and that she would call him because he'd be needed. While she does seem to work for the government, this may still be setting up the Thunderbolts, but the story we will see in relation to this is still very much a mystery. But this little teaser makes it seem like it's going to be pretty big. Sam goes to see Isaiah Bradley one last time to tell him how he is going to stand for the Shield, but really goes to show Isaiah that his legacy will finally be brought to light. Sam takes him and his grandson to the Smithsonian's Captain America exhibit to show him the newest part, a memorial to the super soldier and first Black Captain America, Isaiah Bradley. This ends with Bradley thanking Sam for this, as it helps Isaiah get both closure and praise for his heroism. Sam and Bucky's story ends with them returning to Sam's hometown, showing that they are finally friends and that Bucky has finally moved on with his life. And while it is nice to see them happy and celebrating, they are still in for some dark times ahead, especially because there's an end credits scene with Sharon Carter. In this scene, Sharon is finally getting pardoned and offered a job back in the CIA. But this is not good news because it was confirmed that she is power broker. Although she doesn't have super soldiers to sell, she now has the US government's secrets, experimental weapons, and access to everything that they have. She ends the episode with a call to one of her people who starts to set up buyers, teasing that Sharon will be a big problem in the future. Although it is over, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier's story has only begun. We are going to see a lot more from Sam's Captain America, and hopefully we'll see him as he leads the Avengers in the future. Sharon herself has a dark future ahead of her as a future villain that will probably cause problems for other heroes in the future. John's story has only just begun as well, as this was really just his origin story, and now that he's received a little bit of redemption with his new title, his involvement in either the Thunderbolts or even the Dark Avengers could be the stories and teams he joins in the future. As for the Flag Smashers, Zemo's butlers seem to finish off the rest of them, and with a satisfied Zemo in prison with all the super soldiers he wanted dead off the playing field, who knows when he may show up again, as he seemed very content with his situation. Bucky will probably be around with Sam for a while, and they'll continue to work together as Bucky has finally found some peace, but now has to find out who he wants to become in this new world. So much has happened, and so much more can happen now. What are your final thoughts on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and how do you think their stories will continue? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and then like this video and subscribe to the Marvelous Wave to assemble and join our team, and have a great day.